The vastness of the universe holds countless mysteries, but sometimes the most baffling ones don't hide in deep space or ancient tombs. They hide on a mundane suburban lawn. It was November 2007 in a quiet residential street, and in the dead of night, an ordinary security camera captured an impossible sight. It wasn't an animal or a person sneaking by, it was something else. A figure, stark white, gliding across the frame with long, unsettling strides. No arms, no torso, just a pair of walking legs. In that single fleeting moment, the internet was gifted its most peculiar and perhaps most enduring cryptid, the Fresno Nightcrawler. The video lasted mere seconds, but its mystery has lasted decades. And tonight we walk the path of the phantom legs to discover what exactly was captured in the dark. The Nightcrawler legend began not with a hunter or a hiker, but with a homeowner identified only as Jose. The date was November 14th, 2007, and the location was a quiet Fresno neighborhood. Jose's house was equipped with a simple surveillance system, the kind designed to catch porch pirates, not paranormal figures. On that night, Jose was awakened by his dog barking incessantly, a sharp, fearful sound that cut through the silence. He checked the feed from his motion-activated security camera. What he saw was baffling. The footage shows two distinct pale figures appearing suddenly from the left side of the screen. The first and larger of the two strides forward with an almost impossible gait. The second follows close behind. Their most striking feature? Their structure. They appear to be two-legged creatures, tall and thin, seemingly made of white fabric or light-reflecting skin. They had no visible arms, no discernible heads or torsos, just an unsettling, fluid motion that looked like a pair of walking trousers. The camera feed only captured them for a few seconds before they vanished behind a tree and off the screen. Jose initially thought it might be a child in a strange costume or a prank, but the way they moved and the sheer whiteness of their form convinced him it was something deeply unfamiliar. He was frightened enough to immediately copy the footage, and soon after he took the tape to Univision, hoping for an explanation. He got one, but not the one he expected. He just released a modern monster into the world. What he got was a springboard. The local news story quickly found its way to the highly influential world of paranormal radio. Specifically the show Los Desvelados, hosted by Victor Camacho. Camacho's reach was immense, and once the footage hit his airwaves and website, the story began to truly go viral. The internet is where the figure truly found its identity. The grainy, baffling footage became prime evidence for early YouTube conspiracy channels, cryptozoology forums, and skeptical debunking communities. People needed a name for the phenomenon. Various early ideas were floated: the two-legged alien, the dancing shadow, or simply the Jose video creature. The name that stuck, however, came from the television show Fact or Faked Paranormal Files. When the Sci-Fi Network show investigated the footage, they needed a recognizable title for their segment. They dubbed the creature the Fresno Nightcrawlers. The name was simple, evocative, and it immediately placed the mystery in a defined location. This rapid spread created a split in the reaction. On one side was the fear. Was this an actual undocumented creature, a new cryptid, or even an extraterrestrial? On the other side was the humor. Its simple, non-threatening appearance, a creature that looked frankly adorable, made it ripe for memes and parody. This blend of genuine mystery and quirky charm ensured the Nightcrawler was cemented in internet lore, setting the stage for the next baffling piece of evidence. The Nightcrawler was a localized oddity, a strange piece of footage confined to one suburban lawn in Fresno. That perception changed in 2011 when a second, highly debated video surfaced, relocating the creature's alleged habitat from a residential yard to the deep wilderness of Yosemite National Park. The context of the Yosemite video was different. It wasn't surveillance footage, but reportedly taken by two people filming the night sky when the Nightcrawler suddenly appeared. While the circumstances varied, the figures bore a striking, unsettling resemblance to the originals. Tall, thin, white, and defined almost entirely by their bizarre, striding legs. The existence of a second sighting, 40 miles away in a completely different, rugged environment, served to either legitimize the creatures or deepen the deception. Skeptics argue the Yosemite video was a simple, dedicated hoax, a copycat artist attempting to capitalize on the original's fame. They pointed to slight differences. The Yosemite figures seemed to have a smoother, more artificial texture than the grainy forms in Fresno. However, those who believe the Nightcrawler is a genuine cryptid saw this as confirmation. If the creatures were indeed migratory or part of a family group, a place like Yosemite, massive, undeveloped, and full of shadowed canyons, would be the perfect refuge. It pushed the narrative behind a simple backyard prank and forced the question. If the Fresno figures were real, were the Yosemite ones proof of a family, maybe a species? This second sighting cemented the Nightcrawler status, transforming it from a piece of viral content into a classic cryptozoological case study, driving us directly into the heart of the debate. Are the Nightcrawlers a real species, a simple case of misidentification, or the work of a master hoaxer? For every believer in the Nightcrawler, there is an equally vocal skeptic. And when it comes to the original 2007 footage, the skeptical analysis usually lands on one conclusion. The Nightcrawlers are a highly effective but relatively simple hoax. The leading theory posits that the creatures are nothing more than clever puppetry. Given the low resolution and grainy quality of the 2007 CCTV footage, it would be relatively simple to construct two figures out of white cloth, maybe weighted at the bottom, and manipulate them using nearly invisible lines or rods from behind the fence or a nearby structure. The shaky, low frame rate of the security camera naturally obscures the fine details that would expose the strings. One critical piece of evidence cited by technical analysis is the way the figures interact with light and shadow. In many frames, the figures appear unnaturally bright and uniform, suggesting they are two-dimensional or lack the volume of a real moving creature. As one VFX expert has noted, creating a basic non-detailed figure that moves across a low-resolution field is a fundamental exercise in digital video editing. Another simpler hoax theory suggests the use of a specifically constructed costume. The figures could simply be two people wearing oversized, ill-fitted white robes or pants on stilts. They appear to be moving in a strange shuffle to prevent the costume from revealing the wearer's true shape. However, this theory is less popular as the figures appear too thin and lack the obvious arm and head sections a person would need to conceal. While the method of the alleged hoax is debated, the takeaway for skeptics is clear. The most compelling evidence for the Nightcrawler is derived directly from the limitations of the early 2000s security technology. If this footage had been captured on a modern high-definition camera, the mystery would likely be solved in seconds. But for now, the enduring effectiveness of the hoax makes the Nightcrawler case a perfect study in digital folklore. If the Nightcrawler footage wasn't a deliberate hoax, what real-world object or animal could the low-resolution camera have warped into this uncanny shape? The simplest explanations are often the most difficult to accept, and several theories suggest the creatures are merely a case of pareidolia, where the human eye perceives a familiar pattern, like a walking humanoid, in random data. The most popular natural explanation involves a common backyard animal, such as a deer standing on its hind legs. In the original footage, the creatures are distant and viewed from a low angle. If a deer were standing upright to feed on leaves or look over a fence, the low-light camera could easily lose definition of its head, neck, and forelegs, especially if they blended into the background or were obscured by the frame rate. All that would be clearly visible is the large, pale mass of the lower body and hind legs, moving with an upright, unnatural gait. Another theory focuses on birds. Certain large pale birds, like a barn owl or a large heron, can appear incredibly strange when perched or taking a few awkward steps on the ground. The creature's apparent lack of a neck and arms could be the bird's body tucked in, with the white feathers creating the illusion of a single fluid white mass. Critics of this theory, however, point to the creature's walking pattern. They move with a deliberate, smooth stride that doesn't quite match the jerky hop of a bird or the typical clumsy bouncing act of a deer standing on two legs. The final misidentification theory is perhaps the most mundane. Simple objects caught by the camera, a piece of plastic sheeting, a tablecloth, or even clothing caught in a breeze could be triggering the motion sensor. When combined with the low frame rate of the security system, the flapping or sailing fabric is rendered in a few disconnected frames. This creates the terrifying and unforgettable illusion of something walking. Ultimately, these theories provide logical explanations for the figures, but they lack the satisfaction of a definitive answer, leaving the door wide open for those who want to believe in something stranger. Now, we cross the line from skepticism and misidentification into the realm of the truly unknown. For many enthusiasts, the Nightcrawler's bizarre anatomy, the long legs, the white color, and the near total lack of a head or arms are not signs of a hoax, but proof. Proof of a unique, undiscovered species thriving in the shadows of Central California. One angle would be the cryptid angle. As a cryptid, the creature is defined by its unusual shape. Its anatomy suggests a life adapted for bipedal locomotion, where the emphasis is solely on walking or gliding. If this is an evolutionary distinct creature, why the long legs? Perhaps it needed to move quickly, cover long distances, or maybe it evolved in a specific environment. A marsh or tall grass where height provided an advantage. Some have theorized a link to other long-legged cryptids, or even speculated that they are a type of flesh gait, another form of humanoid that has managed to avoid human notice for centuries. The consistency of the shape across both the Fresno and Yosemite sightings for believers indicates a stable biology. Why would two different hoaxers choose the exact same, absurdly specific design? They argue the visual consistencies points to a biological reality. You could also go the extraterrestrial angle. For others, the Nightcrawler's appearance is so far removed from terrestrial biology that the only explanation is an extraterrestrial origin. Its physical structure doesn't seem optimized for Earth's gravity or atmosphere. If the creatures evolved on a planet with significantly lower gravity, the exaggerated length of the legs would make sense for slow, deliberate movement. Their thin, white appearance could be explained as a highly adapted form, perhaps wearing some kind of biosuit, or simply having skin that evolved for a non-solar environment. The fact that the first sighting occurred on a quiet residential street also plays into common alien narratives. They're observing us, moving secretly, and occasionally caught on our technology. Whether viewed as a reclusive ground-dwelling creature or an out-of-place visitor, the Nightcrawler's simple, strange form acts as a perfect canvas for our most fantastical theories. It is a mystery defined by what it lacks, allowing us to fill the void with our imagination. The Fresno Nightcrawler holds a unique place in the cryptid hierarchy. It doesn't inspire the abject terror of the Mothman, nor the awe-inspiring majesty of Bigfoot. Instead, it inspires something far more powerful in this modern age: affection and absurdity. The simple, uncomplicated shape, which has been universally described as a pair of walking pants or a walking ghost, made it perfectly suited for the internet's humor machine. Unlike other creatures that require detailed drawings or elaborate backstories, the Nightcrawler is visually simple, making it instantly recognizable and endlessly memeable. It has transcended mere form discussion to become a genuine pop culture commodity. Artists, writers, crafters, all of them have embraced this creature worldwide. You can buy Nightcrawler crochet patterns, vinyl stickers, apparel, plush dolls, you name it. It has appeared in independent video games, countless YouTube deep dives, and has dedicated art shows. Why is it so popular? Its non-threatening nature is key. The creatures are not reported to attack or terrify, they just walk. They are, as one commenter aptly put it, super simple, uncomplicated, just a pair of pants out for a walk. The simplicity makes the creature universally cute and non-toxic, scoring a huge points in the online world. The Nightcrawler represents the perfect modern blend of mystery and comedy, a legend we want to believe in, not out of fear, but out of sheer quirky enjoyment. This massive online footprint has not only propelled its fame, but has also firmly established the creature as an unintentional icon of the city where it was first spotted. The vast majority of the Nightcrawler's fame lives online, circulated through global networks of cryptid enthusiasts and meme pages. But in its birthplace, Fresno, California, the creature has taken on a much more grounded, if unintended, role, that of a quirky local icon. For years, the city of Fresno has been looking for ways to distinguish itself, to attract attention beyond the Central Valley. And surprisingly, this strange two-legged figure has become part of that identity. Local artists have embraced the creature, incorporating the Nightcrawler's simple, ghostly white shape into murals, gallery exhibitions, and local art hop events. It's a way for the city to acknowledge its role in paranormal history with a sense of humor. Local businesses have capitalized on the creature's popularity, selling Nightcrawler-themed craft beers, stickers, and t-shirts. It's a prime example of cryptid tourism, where a fictional or mysterious figure becomes a point of local pride and a minor economic driver. The creature gives locals a shared piece of bizarre modern folklore to rally around. The Nightcrawler, therefore, is more than just a video clip to the people of Fresno. It's a piece of local history, a modern urban legend they can claim as their own. It proves that even the strangest mysteries, born from the lowest quality camera, can become enduring symbols that foster community identity. The popularity of the Fresno footage, paired with the subsequent Yosemite video, created a fascinating global side effect: copycat sightings. Once the template for the walking pants was established, people around the world began to report similar figures or began to analyze their own old grainy footage with the Nightcrawler's profile in mind. Sightings were alleged everywhere from rural Montana to parts of Eastern Europe. In each case, the figures generally adhered to the established blueprint: tall, pale, two-legged, and lacking distinct upper bodies. These new reports immediately sparked renewed debate. The phenomenon debate for believers. These new sightings were proof that the Nightcrawler was not a singular Fresno anomaly, but a globally distributed creature, perhaps a new fast-moving species. It suggests a vast population of these beings exists, capable of thriving in varied climates. For skeptics, these subsequent reports are simply evidence of the original video's cultural influence. Once the mind is primed to see walking pants in low-quality video shadows, or even deliberately staged hoaxes, are easily interpreted as the famous cryptid now. Crucially, none of these later sightings have ever offered the kind of compelling, raw footage that the original 2007 camera provided. They all suffer from the same issues: distance, graininess, and ambiguity that made the first sighting so intriguing. The global spread of the Nightcrawler story highlights one of the most powerful elements of modern urban legends: the ease with which a single piece of online content can generate a worldwide phenomenon, turning local anomaly into a universal mystery. Whether real or manufactured, the Nightcrawler now walks the digital landscape of the entire planet. We have spent this episode walking alongside the Fresno Nightcrawler. We've explored the claims of the hoaxers, the theories of the cryptozoologists, and the humorous legacy of its online fame. Yet despite all the analysis and all the commentary, the core footage remains unresolved. This is where the true power of the Nightcrawler lies. In an age where almost every inch of the planet is mapped, surveyed, and documented, the Nightcrawler provides crucial proof that ambiguity and mystery can still exist, even on a well-lit suburban lawn. It is a mystery born from the very technology, the surveillance camera, that was supposed to eliminate the unknown, but somehow created it. If you are a skeptic, you see the poor quality of the camera, the lack of detail, and the simple explainable movements. It confirms your belief that most cryptid claims are easily dismissed. If you are a believer, however, you see the uncanny gait, the bizarre lack of conventional limbs, the sheer impossibility of the figures. It confirms your suspicion that the world holds secrets science has yet to categorize. The Nightcrawler asks us a profound question. What do we choose to believe? Do we accept this simple logical explanation, or do we allow ourselves to be captivated by the magic of the bizarre? Its legacy is not in its proof, but in its doubt. As our investigation draws to a close, we return to the voices that have guided us through the labyrinth of theories. The Nightcrawler stands as a perfect case study, illustrating the fundamental tension between rational analysis and the human appetite for the supernatural. The Nightcrawler forces us to reconcile three truths simultaneously. It could be a simple, easily fabricated hoax. It also could be a baffling cryptid sighting. But it is an enduring piece of culture nonetheless. Like the best mysteries, the Fresno Nightcrawler resists definition. It exists in the liminal space between fact and fiction, walking forever just outside the frame of certainty. The truth about the Nightcrawler is likely lost somewhere between the static of a cheap security camera and the imagination of millions. Perhaps Jose's dog was barking at nothing but the wind playing tricks on a piece of discarded laundry, expertly timed to create a perfect few seconds of bizarre movement. But what if it wasn't? What if, for one brief moment in 2007, a camera meant to watch over a simple home captured a fleeting glimpse of something truly alien? A creature from a hidden corner of the world, or perhaps from beyond it, that just happened to be passing through Fresno on its own long, silent journey. The Nightcrawler, with its strange, unsettling walk, reminds us that the mundane is just a thin veil. Every fence, every tree line, and every dark corner of a familiar street holds the potential for the unexplained. It's a testament to the persistent human need for mystery, the hope that our carefully categorized world still holds room for the absurd and the beautiful. The legends of the Nightcrawler will continue to be written, not in ancient tombs, but on YouTube comment threads and digital art pages. Whether a hoax, alien, or a pair of ghost trousers, the Fresno Nightcrawler is walking into legend and is taking all of us with it. But the conversation doesn't end here. The mystery is yours to solve. What do you think the Fresno Nightcrawler is? If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and subscribe. And thank you for venturing into the dark with me. The world is full of things we can't explain, but we'll keep looking. Until next time, I'm Kylie, and remember, the truth is often hidden by night.